Welcome back to another edition of Let's Talk with yours truly, Big Chief Stero Lion. You know what I mean? Want to say big up to all the supporters, the subscribers. Thank you for sharing the content, liking, and subscribing. Continue doing that. We really, really, really appreciate love, all the support. Today, we're going to get into how this AI thing is being used as a tool by the government agencies to keep a track of the citizens and, you know, immigrants, etc., etc., etc. And we're going to touch on a few points. You know what I'm saying? So as
Yeah.
we all know, immigration right now is a hot topic, and the borders and etc., etc., etc. So they have decided to use AI as a tool that will be used to help them further and advance their cause in terms of tracking and keeping tabs on individuals. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
hmm
very, very interesting. To be fair, it's kind of scary when you think about it. You know what I mean? From an Orwellian, totalitarian type of mindset.
Yeah.
But it's the future and it's here to stay. So it's not going anywhere. We're here to discuss it and see what you guys' opinions are, and just basically furnish the information. So immigration is shifting from manual tracking to AI-driven, 24/7 automated surveillance. They have facial recognition technology, and your identity will be used and can be read by radar just to classify human movement, and the algorithm will basically take into account risk assessment.
hmm
Now, they have a whole bunch of companies that are on board to help with this cause, such as Plantier Tech, Hurricane Scores, Thomson Reuters, Motorola Solutions, and these individuals will basically implement software that they'll be able to aggregate data from information IRS, the DMV, the license plates, all types of stuff, and they'll create comprehensive records for tracking and basically being able to deport individuals that aren't supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Plantier Tech has a $30 million plus contract
hmm
that will be able to create records for, like I said, comprehensive tracking from like license plates, the DMV, the IRS. So wherever you have information of yourself logged or stored, they'll be able to tap into these places and confirm or basically whether you are here legally or not, and take the action in a swift nature to get you right.
Yeah.
If you fail to check in, hurricane scores, for instance, predicts the likelihood, and the AI is using something called SmartLink to, confirm identities via photos and GPS. So this is really, really digging into the rabbit hole as far as the capabilities that these companies providing this software have.
hmm
I mean, you have the GEO group, and that's tech used to surveil and monitor, such as SmartLink, magnet forensics. They're going to provide scan devices and Cellbrite Unblock, which is going to be able to get into your cell phone even if it's locked. So
Mm.
you have nowhere to run and nowhere to hide.
Yeah. But it's crazy because according to the Department of Justice, right? The Department of Justice, this is like the top dog, the top enforcement agency in the federal government. On their
Hmm.
website, they care to share this, and I want to be specific with clarity. This is what they noted on their website. It says artificial intelligence and civil rights. It says artificial intelligence, AI, generally referred to machine based systems that can make predictions, recommendations, or decisions influences real or virtual environment. AI technologies are used to complete tasks usually performed by humans. While these emerging technologies may be used and might be useful tools, they can also result in unlawful discrimination. The Civil Rights Division is committed to confronting issues that lie at the intersection of AI and civil rights.
I
Now,
mean,
with this being said,
right?
um, isn't this like contradictory in a kind of sense?
To a degree,
Yeah,
because it brings into the whole ethical argument of, you know, is it being used for good or is it being used for divisive methods? You know what I'm saying? In terms of how they're really approaching it, you know? Because, like I
yeah,
said, from a big brother Orwellian type of, totalitarian mindset,
hmm
this is, you know, we've read about this type of thing taking place from the beginning of time.
yeah,
For it to be happening now, them tracking you, them having satellites in the sky that can, basically look down on you and take a real time picture. You travel from one state to the next, that your license plate has been, scanned and processed and captured on, closed circuit TV, your
yeah,
information, the DMV, the IRS, you
hmm
know, all these places that have a record of individuals that
yeah,
you wouldn't think would be able to just funnel information to a third party who wants to supposedly get a hold of it to use for such means as a way to keep a track of people.
yeah,
But I guess the future that we're in right now, so it's very,
yeah.
very interesting to say the least, you know.
Because now, like these are private companies and also publicly traded companies. Like when it comes to like social media, they have like a company that actually two companies that is working with a Department of Homeland Security and so forth. And one of them is on Tangles, and the other one is Weblock. And in a nutshell, what they do is scrape public social media profiles, right? And also your advertisement footprint, like any advertising that you view or whatever, and it track your device location and map all the personal networks and so forth. Like a lot of people when they join these social media companies, whether it is TikTok or Facebook or whatever, they don't read the fine print. And the fine print, a lot of times, it says that they're able to track your locations for advertising purposes. They also sell your information to advertisers or data source companies. So it appears that these companies are basically contracting with the United States government to provide these technologies to them, so they be able to easily track individuals that they claim that is here undocumented. You know, um, in addition, they're able to monitor your phone calls, your activity in specific geographic areas.
I mean, what do you think of that whole capability personally?
If it's being used by private entities, I don't mind, especially if you subscribe to it and you decide you want to join these social media groups or whatever. But for them to sell that information or give access to the United States government without your consent, I think that's a controversy.
That is most rebarbative, to say
Yeah,
the least, you know, and
yeah,
it's something to be concerned about. I mean, you
yeah.
have to understand, overstand, understand that once you go on social media, you've left a digital footprint,
Correct.
whether it be TikTok, IG,
Yeah,
Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter. I mean, that's a public domain.
yeah.
Oh, excuse me, those are public domains.
hmm
So once you input information, data, pictures, and you send it to the world, it becomes available to be grabbed and snatched up by anybody who would like to use it for whatever they want.
Yeah.
And this is what's basically taking place with these companies that are being paid millions of dollars, you know what I'm saying, to get a hold of this information and disseminate it to individuals who are using it to track people.
Correct. Yeah, because look at this, like the company Clearview AI. You know what they have done is they provide facial recognition technology to the United States government that allow agents to identify individuals using billions of photos, right?
Right?
Scraped from the public web. So basically, they're scraping it, and they could identify individual. You know, if they're looking for an individual that might be illegal or undocumented, they could always follow them based on where they pop up, based on um, the facial recognition. But we all know that facial recognition, in general, it's very faulty in a kind of sense because there's in the past where, especially when it comes to people of color, because they tested the technology on white folks when they were creating the technology, and they didn't incorporate people of color, and we see where a lot of the mistakes is made when law enforcement relies solely on the technology as opposed to them visually confirming that this is who the person is that is being flagged within the system. You know?
Right?
Yeah. So it might become an issue if they use it wholesale.
You know, where we are in the world today and the way things are going, I think people need to be the most conscientious of what they're posting on social media
Yeah.
in terms of visual and, text dialogue, because everything is scrutinized. They
Yeah.
can track and see everything. Everything that's in
Yeah.
your phone, they can hear. They have the capability to, see and hear everything. Nothing is private anymore.
Yeah.
And, individuals have warned us about this from a time. And,
Yeah.
whether they were considered whistleblowers or individuals that were just rebelling against the system,
Hmm.
that's subjective as far as your perspective and how you look at it. I just think it's time for everyone to really, really open their eyes, pay attention, and be conscientious because AI is here to stay
Yeah.
and it's not going anywhere. Okay? So you're either
Hmm.
going to get with the program and, follow suit, or you will be relegated to the realms of antiquity.
So
That's just what it is.
yeah, that's true. And according to the American Immigration Council, they say that ICE has reported that they have 23 active AI software programs to enforce, immigration, and started in May of last year to present.
That's crazy.
Hmm.
That is crazy. I mean, for this type of technology to be in the hands of individuals such as ICE,
Yeah.
who are a very controversial group of the moment, just based on recent happenings in terms of, what's been taking place in like Minnesota and around the rest of the country, as far as them rounding up individuals and, using their brute force and having their way with individuals to get this immigration situation under control. It's going to be very interesting to see how these programs really, really, you know, are implemented and unfold.
Yeah. So like the company I was the organization I was just referencing, the American Immigration Council, basically
Mhm.
is saying that like AI can misclassify individual criminal records as well. It has happened in the past,
Okay.
um, and they're able to score people based on incomplete information, right? Based on the AI recommendation, and introduce other forms of bias in law enforcement, in which we have seen that before. Even
So it's
without
not
AI,
so,
the
so
shared.
it's not a
Huh?
flawless system.
I didn't hear you.
It's not a flawless system.
Correct, and that's why it's always best for you to verify, right? They always
Indeed.
say like, confirm but also verify or something like that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And we all know how people are lazy in general. Law enforcement, some agencies, some individuals are lazy, and they would just go by what is printed out on the computer, is telling them, and they will go with it. And you deal, as long as they get the arrest or whatever, you deal with it when you go in front of the judge. They ain't trying to hear it. They go along with that, and then it's up to you to fight and even sue whatever agency it is. It is. By that time, you already pay money. You already lost your job. You already paid money for an attorney and stuff like that.
Have served time in detention centers
Yes.
for undisclosed amounts of time. It's just, I don't know, man. I mean, it's just it makes me feel very, very uneasy.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling that way, I could imagine how individuals who are undocumented
Yeah.
could feel once they get to understand and process this same information.
Yeah. And for now they're using it with undocumented. Who knows? Maybe they decide, well, they're going to use on individuals that speak out against the government or have opinion that's not reflective of the opinion that they're trying to push or whatever it is, or
So are
things
you
like that
saying
may
that
be occurred.
yourself and I could potentially become targets?
I didn't hear you.
Are you saying that potentially yourself and myself could become targets?
No, we're not big enough.
Hey, hey,
We
man,
just
it's not about the size; it's about the information being disseminated. You know what I mean?
that's true. That's true. That's true.
So anybody could be put under scrutiny
Yes.
once you got the attention drawn to you, and they start to you know dig into your records and your social media
Hmm.
and your phone and all your platforms that you're on. You know,
Yeah. So I just want to just to go over like the list of companies that is working with the government. Now, mind you, to present, we don't know if they still have contracts with the government, but
right?
within that time period, from May to present, they did have contracts with them. So it's Palantir Technology, who has they created Immigration OS, right?
Right?
We also have Tangles, right?
Mhm.
Um, that scrape public social media databases and Weblock as well. You have
You got
Penlink,
Penlink. Yep.
and that sells Weblock tools, which allows agencies to monitor mobile phone activities. We have Thomson's Reuters and Motorola Solution is contracted for automated license plate readers, right? We also
Yep.
have Geo Group. They provide technology used in electronics monitoring and surveillances, right? Such as SmartLink, all right? And you also have Cellbrite and Magnet Forensic. They provide mobile forensic tools to unlock and scan devices, like you mentioned, right? Now, they also have, which is not on the list, which is not used by the federal government, but is used by state agencies. It's called flock cameras. And basically, the flock cameras is the cameras that you see on the light post, above the light post and stuff like that, where it
Yes.
tracks um, where and when you travel within a traverse within the city or whatever it is. It read your license plate and also take a digital photo when you pass certain intersections or whatever.
So
Now,
that's
other
8 companies that we
authorities,
know about.
huh? I didn't hear you.
That's 8 companies that we know about.
Yes.
What about
So
the ones that we don't know about?
now, mind you, you're out in the public, but you didn't give authorization for them to store your pictures or your license plate of your vehicle and all that stuff. But people don't question that, right?
You know, it's unfortunate, but that's just the way of the world.
Yeah, unfortunate, unfortunately, yeah, very much so.
But you know what? Stay tuned because Big Chief and myself, We'll most definitely keep you abreast as these developments unfold, as we learn about more companies that are intertwined with this particular system and network to, gather all this information to, get this immigration situation under control. Continue to like, subscribe, and share the content. And Chief and myself will
Yeah.
continue to keep you guys updated. We appreciate you. And until next time, continue to like, subscribe, and share the content. This is Let's Talk with Chief and Stero. We're out. Peace.
Peace.